MJF throwing in the towel. MJF was the feature of the next segment in the show tonight, guys. It was the town hall of Jericho, MJF, the Inner Circle. It really included some surprise guests. The actual format of tonight's segment was different than what I was expecting. What was your takeaway from this one? I know that like we as an organization here on Dynamite Download, we love the Inner Circle. We love MJF. It's hard not to find these guys entertaining. They're hilarious in the ring. Whenever they cut promos, they're always gold. How did this one go down for you, SPD? Were you eating the popcorn and getting all into it, or what?
I had very high expectations because I think MJF and Jericho are gold in money and they could do no wrong. But this segment kind of fell flat for me, honestly. I'm all for, including other people, and it just was, Peter Avalon and Luchasaurus and Reba or Rebel or I don't know. Like it just it fell flat, the format. It just seemed kind of, the original town hall they had, it was great because there was more interaction with Jericho and Orange Cassidy. This was just they weren't necessarily like the main spotlight I don't think. It was kind of a miss for me, honestly, sadly.
I would have never guessed that, just given these two guys are really at the top of your AEW fanboy list.
I know.
Do you agree with that? Do you are you on the same page as SPD on this one, or do you have a different take?
I'm giving it an elite, but I had a very different experience with it. So like for me, you got Jericho and MJF, who are the best, like maybe top 5 ever on the microphone. But in this segment in particular, I found Britt Baker, Reba, Luchasaurus, Eric Bischoff, all these people like more entertaining, which I think Sean's kind of alluding to, which is weird because when you had the ballroom dancing of last week, which was just 2 guys for 4 minutes, that was like epic. All of a sudden you have all these other players involved in the storyline that weren't necessarily involved in last week's. So I think it's a little confusing. Also, Ortiz was great on the horn tonight, which I think caught me off guard too. So all these things, it was kind of confusing. They also didn't lean into the ballroom dancing angle much at all, which I expected. I expected them to I thought Inner Circle was going to hold Jericho to the fire. Like, why are you dancing with this dude last week? Like, what's going on? And it didn't happen. So
that's a good point.
I was entertained, maybe just because of like the surprises I thought were cool. And Bischoff showing up more and more is a whole other conversation that I think is interesting. I like seeing that dude on TNT again. So
yeah. I would agree with you on that, Zepp. I felt like the like sort of the guest appearances were all entertaining. I thought that Reba and Britt Baker were phenomenal as always. I'm a big fan of Baker. And I thought the questions were actually all good. I mean, to me, we've seen a lot of MJF and Jericho interacting, right? We've seen plenty of that. To me, I think that their strengths, one of the things I've always loved about Jericho is his ability to sort of play off of other people. His comedic timing is usually sort of feels like it's off the cuff or in the moment, right? It's a lot of like improv. Where he's kind of put into situations where he has to react to. And I think MJF's one of his greatest strengths is when things aren't going well, he always has an ability to kind of make little comments or keep things rolling so things don't fall flat. I thought this segment was great, personally. I was a big fan of it. I thought it was actually better than last week. I was more entertained by this than the dancing segment. Not looking back on it. I just think that it talked more about the character motivations. We've really been teasing what's going to happen with MJF joining the Inner Circle for quite some time, and there was a lot that happened here where we got to see, what his motivations are. I thought there was some comedy that was involved. I thought that the chart that MJF threw up there was pretty funny, and I thought that like the actual content that we talked about it showed. We were able to see a little bit more character motivation. We got to see MJF admit that he's not the best team player, that he has some things that he can learn from. I think that he also was put in a situation where he's finally kind of was put on his heels a little bit. And we get to see a different side of MJF. I thought like Ortiz on the mic again, talking about a different side of somebody. Ortiz has always kind of been the comedic foil of the Inner Circle. and for and for us to finally see Ortiz like show some fire and really get pissed off and basically say like Sammy and I are gonna put you down next week. That I was geeked out about that. Like I love the Inner Circle, and I think that the more opportunity for those types of guys to shine outside of Jericho's shadow, the better. So I was a fan of it. I thought that they did a really great job.